Hey y'all, hey, I hope this video finds you happy and blessed. It's me, V, the CPS scholar, dropping in totally randomly because I ain't been acting right on these people internet. So total transparency. So this weekend I was getting some like rest and some me time or whatever. And I had been waiting for two shows to come back. Raising Kanan, which is a Power spinoff because it's his final season, and Interview with a Vampire, aka what they're calling it now, the Vampire Lestat. So on Sunday night, I've been BSing all day, sleepy, didn't go where I was supposed to go, and I was like, oh snap, it's back on. So it's on AMC, and if you haven't watched, oh my gosh, season 1 and 2 were so amazing. The acting, the emotion, realizing all that you have possibly a bunch of unreliable narrators, like the regular Interview with a Vampire. Anne Rice's classic that they did in the 90s that I grew up on. Yeah, I dated myself. But they brought back a show, and there's a twist to it because Louis, who's played by Brad Pitt in the original, and Lestat, who's played by Tom Cruise in the original, are replaced by Sam Reed. And oh, don't get me the line on what Louis' real name is. I just know he fine. But anyways, they made it a twist. They made Louis a black queer man, and both the actresses that played Claudia were everything. And usually when they switch up the race and different things about the story, it doesn't work. Baby, it worked. But anyways, I watched the Vampire Lestat and I'm like, Lord, whose fever dream did I walk into? Like, it was just so much. It was very much Lestat, because if you know Lestat, he looked good. He looked good. We start off with the theme song, which was so crazy, which I guess is his music. Because why? Lestat becomes a rock star. Anybody surprised? This man is so into himself. How could he not be a celebrity? How could he not express himself through music? But the show started off with them having an auction of his stuff, and they pull out all these records of his recordings, and then you go, and it's an auction, and you see that Armand is there with his fine ass. He ain't shit, but anyways, and then Louis come in looking like something off of Pirates of the Caribbean, because he walk in and his hair is cool. He just need to line up. He still look fine as all get out, but he got a peg leg. I'm like, what the hell? What done went on? They sit down, and the auction's about to start, and Lestat's like, people like, he has all types of people there, priests, a butcher, a baker, a candlestick, all types of people who had to sign an NDA to get there, only for them to sit there and watch them burn the stat stuff and say you can't get it. And which is something that he would do. And then they go to auction off the other things. It was a beautiful setup. It was almost like them break fronts that they be having, the china cabinets with speakers and everything. You realize it's his music or whatever. So then it goes to Lestat, and you kind of see what he's been doing with his life. The man, the name of the episode was in Detroit. Detroit. And baby, it was all over the place. I had to, of course everybody would message me during this thing. I had to watch it twice to understand what all the way was going on, because it's set in a time, it's set in 2025, and Interview with the Vampire, the book, actually came out without Lestat even knowing it was going to come out. He found out because he's like, who's this Daniel Malloy? Because it like basically went viral or whatever. And you see Lestat in modern times hanging out in Detroit. And he's ticked off because he actually sits there reading Interview with a Vampire, saying that Louis lied about everything. But we had a feeling about that because as Louis was telling his story in season 2, you could tell something was off. And then you find out a lot of the stuff that our mom was saying was a doggone lie. Maybe the only person that told the truth was Claudia. And they did all types of vampire tricks to razzle dazzle people's minds, so you don't even know what's the truth. And then you know at the end that Dan Malloy got turned into a vampire, right? So Dan Malloy living his best vampire life. He won 2 Pulitzer Prizes for this book, all types of things. And now he's interviewing Lestat again because Lestat want to tell his side of the story, but they're doing it through a documentary, which is super clever. But baby, Lestat is a mess. Lestat is living in Detroit. He talks about how he met his band. They're getting on the stage and they're performing music, y'all. This movie, the music is trash. It's basura. The music sucks to me. But I got it and understood it because I do listen to rock and roll, and it started getting better over time. But he kind of explains how he met his band. He was living in this apartment, living his regular life, handing out Halloween candy, and he would always hear this band practicing, and he thought they were terrible. So one day, as he was handing out Halloween candy to the kids, the irony of that, cussing them out, because guess what? The kids were dressed up as one of the kid who had the peanut allergy was dressed up as Armand. So they think that the Vampire Lestat is a completely made up character, but he gets ticked off at how the band is playing. And he goes up there and he busts up and he plays in the key of F so hard that he basically breaks the guitar. He says, "I'm sorry, I'm gonna replace it for you." But that's how he meets his band. So we basically bounce around figuring out how Lestat done got on here doing tours, and ended up in Detroit with other vampires watching him and kind of clocking him, wanting to do something to him. He got mad groupies. We'll get to that in a second. And he's basically doing a documentary explaining how he lives his life. He even has a doppelganger that he has go out after his concerts. So people, when he goes and feeds on people, they can't figure out it's really him because they're gonna say, "How is it him?" And when he was at the Denny's eating waffles and stuff, or with some hoes or whatever, it wasn't me. He has this one bad black chick that the real Lestat has a bad black chick that he feeds off of, and I think Dan Malloy was feeding off her too. And he has the band. The band doesn't know he's a real vampire either. They have no clue. So he's living his life. But they're flashing forward to a scene where he's in this whole disgusting hotel, losing his lunch. There's a nice way to say that. And he keeps texting somebody, and the text string says "moi et toi," and you think that it's Louis. So the whole time you're like, okay, Louis and him gonna work it out. They're gonna get back together. That's the most toxic relationship I done seen. And I done been in some toxic foolery. But they have that storyline running where you don't know who that is. They have Lestat trying to prove that the interview with the vampire stuff was some foolishness and hiding his true nature from his band. And then there's real vampire showing up to the concert or whatever, and he has groupies and everybody around him. Well, one of the groupies he attacked on stage because she jumped up there, but she was on them drogas. She was on that, whatever. And her blood was so tainted. When he drank her blood, he was high. He thought he was going to pass out. In that time, he goes through and he runs what his life was, his childhood trauma, all the things. And Dan Malloy keeps asking him, did you stutter when you were a child? And it was like all these flashbacks. But after everything is done, he done flipped out in front of the band, bust out the window, let them know he was a real vampire in front of all his fans. Like, instead of just minding his business, he like flips out the window and shows them he could fly. Then the flash forward back to the hotel. Moi et toi shows up, and it's his mama. That's his boo thing, and him and his mama is making out. Why? How did I get here? Oh, Lord. What did y'all think about the Vampire Lestat? I'm still traumatized, y'all. Let me know. Love y'all. Bye.